Hey, look, alright? I didn't make this anime, okay? I didn't make this crazy ass shit. Alright? So Funimation or whoever the fuck, don't sue me. Alright? Okay? And don't take this video down. It's just criticism. You can take some comedic criticism. Alright? Okay. Alright, so before I throw in my $100 bills on this, whatever this is, I should point out a few things, alright? So you got your main characters that you really don't care about because, first of all, you got this dude, he's quiet, kind of a douchebag, doesn't really redeem himself throughout the entire anime, but just does things because, I don't know, he wants to. You got these two useless characters who probably should have died, probably would have been more entertaining, but don't. Then you have a bunch of other characters that turn into vampires and try to kill you. That's pretty much the premise. You've got a doctor who has a horrible dad complex, and let's see. Vampires fuck up the flow of an entire village. The village gets paranoid, pissed off, and kills the vampires, in turn destroying the village, and in turn, fucking up everybody's lives. So that's fun. But in all seriousness, it's the story of how a small family of vampires comes to a rural town, and they're very subtle about it until they go around starting turning other people into vampires, and how the town retaliates against it, and the aftermath that ensues. Alright, so when watching this anime for the first time, you might be put off because it's very slow. It's kind of boring. They try to introduce all the characters as, you know, interesting and full of wonder, but of course you're not gonna fall for that. I mean, 5 minutes in and I'm just like, Friday? Really? Somebody's fucking up and ruining everyone's night by being lost in the woods on a Friday?
Seem a little weird to me. Weird? How are they weird? Well...
They live in a giant fucking castle?
And their houses... What's so wrong with their house? Huh?
It's a giant castle!
It's Sotoba, and it just seems so gloomy.
Okay, if I didn't know any better, I'd think Jon Snow was living in that shit.
Shimitsu's daughter's missing and you're just now calling me? Hey, Atsushi!
God damn, this dude's intense.
The Shimizus live over in
And
the
what
Shimo
the
district.
fuck is up with this
Their
dude's
fire
lips?
brigade handle the search.
Oh shit!
Comb the mountains, you
Holy
twerp!
fuck!
She's beautiful.
No, she's not. She has black eyes. Stop drinking all that lean.
Shimizu's dead. Guess I can leave the window open now that there's no one hiding in the bushes.
I don't know what your name is, man. But you're alright with me. Can somebody shoot somebody else? Like, please. Is this just like a trick episode and the real episode's the next one? Because this isn't funny. But, hey, you know, I guess it's the creator's way of trying to ease you into the anime, because it does pick up, but when it comes to those people that it takes them a good maybe 1 or 2 episodes to really get into a show, this really doesn't grab your attention. I mean, the only thing that really steps out of ordinary is the fact that, oh, there's new neighbors and they have a castle at the top of the hill, which they never really explain about how people didn't really wonder about the development of the castle. God. Ugh, excuse me. Ugh. Like I was saying, they never really explain, you know, how, because obviously this castle had to, taken some time to build. So they never explain why, you know, nobody really investigated before the castle was built of who was supposed to be living there. Because just to build some giant ass house in the middle of a village is, you know, kind of weird. And they could have elaborated on that more and had some mystery and maybe some wonder behind it, but they never really did. So when it comes to my first thoughts, I guess you could say it was, oh yeah, fucking bored. I did like the premise of the village, though, how it was quote-unquote surrounded by death. I liked how the vampires were very subtle and how they snuck in. I like the story arc of how, just basically how the Shiki operated. It was almost like a you know, like a spec ops team. They had leaders and they took orders. I liked that. I liked how the chaos ensues. How the people grew to become so confused and so scared that they almost turn on each other. Well, in fact, they do. I like that psychological horror that you see in people, especially in this anime. I thought it was a great highlight how people break down, how the person that they were completely changes. It does a 180. I like how the main characters just turn into complete trash, just the worst form of themselves. I don't think it really shows a message because, you know, I'm awesome and I'll always be awesome, but I think that it's just overall, it was just fun to watch. I'm sorry if that sounds terrible, but it was just enjoyable to watch how people could go from, you know, just trying to accept, yeah, maybe these new neighbors are strange, but, you know, we're village folk and we accept people, to, oh my god, we gotta kill all of them or they're gonna kill us. And I like that. I like that contrast. I think the anime really shined and highlighted that one point, and without the beginning episodes that dragged on, it really could have done a lot if they spent more time with just, you know, realizing how fragile people can be. Now, if you're like me, then you're more of a person of action. A lot of this anime is about talking and about trying to teach you some sort of lesson, and as much as I like an overall message and all this type of media and in my shows especially, I didn't particularly like the message in this one. I felt that it was trying to go for the direction of, yes, we want to understand that it's survival of the fittest and people do what they have to do to survive, and sure, you may not understand them, but you shouldn't just label them as monsters and end up turning into a monster yourself. But I just really didn't see it. They were going in that direction, but then they completely just deny it when, you know, it seemed like they, especially the vampires, or Shiki in this instance, killed indiscriminately, and when they did that, it didn't really seem like a group of people trying to survive. It seemed like a group of people that killed out of the ecstasy of it. Wow, when was the last time I used the word ecstasy? Anyway, yeah, and when you do that, it defeats the purpose of originally putting out the statement of, oh, we kill because, you know, it's to survive. Yeah, no, you kill because it's fun. I mean, if they would have just came out like that, I would have given them more respect. But it definitely didn't win over any sympathies when, at the end, they were all slaughtered and, well, the village was destroyed. So, yeah, I guess you could say what I really didn't like was the message portion of the anime. I also didn't like how a lot of the characters were very disposable, and they tried very hard to get you to feel for the characters. I remember, I forget the girl's name. I'm not going to remember anime characters' names. I can barely remember my coworkers' names. But it was that boo-hair chick who she thought she could get her entire family to turn into vampires, so she decided to bite them and suck their blood, but couldn't, and then had this whole entire episode where, you know, she was tripping out on something, but it wasn't the ghost of her past or her guilt coming back to eat her, cause that's some crazy shit to just be, you know, walking or running in this case through a sewer and then see dead people. I think, you know, at this point you need to get off of whatever medication you're on. But they tried to have it be some type of meaningful, heartfelt event, and it just didn't happen. I mean, it didn't do it for me, okay? This person, I mean, you don't really know anything about them, and the only time you do learn anything about them is when the anime is already over and all the climactic parts have already finished. You know, you realize she didn't come from a good family, so you're like, oh, you know, that would have been nice to learn about as all of this was happening, not after, because then you no longer care about that character. So I think they kind of dropped the ball there. Oh man, this anime. You know, the last 2 episodes, if you stuck around for that long, really takes the cake, you know. They try to give some type of humanity to these creatures, vampire, Shiki, whatever you want to call them. But as a viewer, you never really care, because at some point, you know, you get tired of watching these Shiki or vampires do whatever they want, and when they get stabbed in the chest, it's so fulfilling. You know, in the last 2 episodes where that's all it was about all the vampires getting dragged out of their homes, stabbed, butchered, chopped up, burned alive, thrown into a pit. Hell, I think one even drowned, if I'm correct. Man, that was so great. And sure, yeah. Sure, I'm a sadist for thinking that, but look. After seeing that one episode where, you know, they have this little vampire village and everybody's having fun and acting as if, you know, killing is the best shit ever, it just feels great, you know, for them to get the shit thrown back in their face. I don't know. Maybe you disagree. And I respect that. I mean, killing's wrong, right? I guess in the anime sense, not really. But if you're a sadist like me, you'll enjoy how they die. I mean, the artists and animators spare no expense on just showing everything. Man, how many man-hours does it take to detail and perfect watching a person burn alive? That's art right there. That is perfection. And you know what? Hey, call me a bad guy for loving it, but I can appreciate detail where there's detail. And people die in such funny ways. It's hilarious. I will say though, that little goth chick, the leader of the vampire guild or whatever, yeah, the fact that she didn't die really pissed me off though. I think she, out of everyone, should have been skewered alive. But hey, that's just my opinion. No need to agree with me. In conclusion, to wrap this whole thing up, Shiki, if you're just looking for an anime to, I don't know, pass the time or watch with your friends, well, not necessarily watch with your friends, they might judge you for it. So I don't know about watching with your friends. But if you're just looking for an anime to pass the time, maybe waiting for a video game to download, or I don't know, a plane to catch, something, you know, Shiki's great. As for a series that you can really relate to and love, I don't know about Shiki. I mean, yes, I did enjoy the massive slaughter. I thought it was great. I did like watching people go insane. I did enjoy people burn alive. I did enjoy the Doctor finally snapping and just turning into a thug and not giving a fuck. I thought that was the best shit ever. But when it all comes down to it, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Shiki just really didn't do it for me. So, I mean, it wasn't horrible, but at the same time, it wasn't phenomenal. And in that respect, I'm gonna have to give Shiki 3 out of 5 stars. I mean, if you didn't have that beginning nonsense with me trying to care for characters that are dumb and I wish got killed from the very beginning, then you would have had me, and maybe you would have gotten a 4 out of 5. But hey, 3 out of 5 stars ain't bad. And coming from a person who's a non-weeaboo right now, I guess my opinion isn't that valid. I can admit that. But in that respect, I still think that could have been better. Could have been better. But what do I know? This is just a semi-normal review after all. I'll see you next time.